Welcome to the month of July. I hope that this missive finds you well. I only put one newsletter out last month. I know I've been saying I wanted to do 2 a month, but there's been a lot of work and I had a time to go visit my folks in the month of June, and so apologies, but when there's not enough time, the free stuff starts to go to the wayside. But I will probably only do one newsletter this month. There will not be Deep Thoughts by Luka happening in July because there's a lot of stuff on the go this month as well. And truth be told, we are building an online subscription service with Histamine Haven. And so it's taking up a lot of energy and time and resources that has left me with no time to do some of the superfluous things or the extra bits that I do here on Good Food and You. So first of all, hello, friend. I hope that you're finding this shift into summer this year a little bit gentler. I was talking with a friend last week, my friend Carol, and she said it just feels like June just whizzed by. And there's kind of a point where it felt like, I'm putting words in her mouth here, but I was thinking the same thing, like where it sort of feels like June had running shoes on and it was racing. And Carol said, you have two choices. You can try to put on the brakes and brace yourself and, oh God, right? Like all of that stuff. It doesn't feel right. Or you can surrender. And so may I wish for you the chance to surrender, and that the universe provides these pockets of peace for you to catch up with yourself. So that is my wish for you for this July. Now, here we are into the summer months. And as we are, so this usual newsletter is to tell you a bit about what's going on at Good Food and You this month and where you can find me. Before I get into that, I want to say summer, a lot of people think that winter is the dormant season and it's where we, things are asleep. The world is asleep. The earth is asleep. We're supposed to rest a lot. And sure. But I'm going to and that, conversely, that the summer is the time where we're alive and kind of everything is on fire and blooming and just so lively and full of life, right? That outwards, the chi, it's a total yang kind of energy, right? Okay, sure. But what about this too? What if summer is actually when the earth is asleep? What if summer is more about the dreaminess? What if summer is more about that ethereal component, or that sort of ephemeral energy is maybe what I mean to say. What if, the flowers are in bloom? What if the flowers in bloom are how the earth dreams? I just think of that as an example. So if you are like me, feeling like your choice is either surrender, woohoo, for the roller coaster, or brace yourself for the tumultuousness and try to put the brakes on where you can, neither of those feel amazing. You know what does? A rest in the hammock, dreaming, meeting up with the earth that's dreaming and seeing what kinds of flowers I can plant or can sprout from my head as I nap. Okay, there will be no flowers sprouting from my head. And if there is, someone call the doctor. Anyway, hello, welcome to the Where is Luka this month. So I have a couple of things to go through. So these are going to be, if it's a set time of when this is on offer, then I'll let you know. But otherwise, most of this has to do with the Good Food Network this month. So here at Good Food and You, yep, I see clients, absolutely. So I have client meetings all month long. My July is pretty booked already, which is kind of exciting. Some years, summer tends to have a bit of a slower pace, but last summer and this summer appear to not be the case, for which I am so very grateful to hear your stories and to hear what's happening and how you're making through the world and how we can help you make some of these food choices to better navigate the tumultuousness, if you will. Maybe food is one of the ways we put our feet in the ground to help ground ourselves and to make it seem not so tumultuous. So I'm very thankful for that. But aside from that, I have this thing called the Good Food Network. And I mention the network every now and then. I certainly do in these email missives. But the network was originally put together, my idea for it was as a continuation for my current clients. So when clients, we figure out what's at the root of their woes so that they can identify what are those root triggers. And then we start them with some of those foundational pieces. But where do they go from there? Yeah, we can continue one-on-one visits, but the one-on-one visits, after a while, they're really lovely, don't get me wrong, but after a while, you may feel like I'm repeating myself, and you would not be wrong because the work for everyone is the same. It doesn't matter what your issue is. Yeah, it's important to figure out what the issue is and then do some very pointed support towards your issue. But once you've got those solid pieces in place, what the Good Food Network was meant to be is a landing pad for the people who have the foundational pieces in place and who are looking for, okay, so now I know that I need to, I don't know, like have this much butter or ghee a day, or for me, it's actually better for coconut oil. I know I need to work on protein at meals. This is how much I'm at. I know that I need to work on blood sugar balancing, and this is some of the ways that I can do that. I know for me, my issue is inflammation. This is how I reduce that. I know at the root of all my troubles is gut stuff. This is what I need to do for the gut. Once you have those foundational pieces in place, now comes the day-to-day work of keeping things interesting, being motivated, providing information, learning new things, and then using that as a jumping off point to feed yourself and those who sit at your table. And that's what I wanted the Good Food Network to be. The Good Food Network, at the core of it, is how food can help us move with a bit more ease through our days. Looking to food specifically, and sometimes we talk about lifestyle ideas, but it is predominantly food, and it's always based around a certain theme. So, while maybe only 1/8 of my clientele has noticeable heart troubles, I am doing 2 whole months on the heart because the 2 things that drive heart issues are blood sugar balancing and inflammation. And sleep troubles, I'll be honest. So those are the 3 that drive heart issues. So yes, we are talking about the heart in the month of July and August in the Good Food Network. And you might think to yourself, well, I don't have heart issues, so I don't need to be there, Luka. Well, sure. Yeah, you can also go sit in the hammock and dream with the flowers. Please do. But if you have inflammation, or if you know you have blood sugar balancing issues, know that we're addressing that in the network this month. And all of the pieces I'll be talking about will go that extra mile to reduce inflammation, to help balance blood sugars. So these are some of the ways that I wanted to offer ongoing support for clients who enjoy having some inspiration and ideas inserted into their life to keep the food piece interesting and valid and relevant to where they're at, while always having a place to introduce some of the new concepts that I'm figuring out. I'm always learning myself. I'm always taking classes. I'm always reading books, deepening my knowledge, and furthering my own, mes propres connaissances. Mes connaissances, there's no English word for it, like my knowings is how I'll translate that. So without further ado, here's what I have on the go for the month of July. We're going to start with Good Food in You. I'll go into Histamine Haven things just afterwards as well. But in the month of July, you're going to find me in the Good Food Network predominantly. That is a majority of where I will be. There's one thing outside of the Good Food Network, and that's with the Histamine Haven stuff. But predominantly, I'm going to be in the Good Food Network this month. So the cost right now is $55. For September, when I launch into year 2 of this, the pricing is going to change, and it's going to be a little bit different. And I'm going to amend things and move things, so there'll be a new version in September. Until then, there's more now than there will be later. I'm going to pare it back. But now, there's tons of stuff in the Good Food Network, and I serve it like a buffet. Now tell me, when you go to the buffet, and if there's 8 of you going to the buffet, do you all have the same plate? Does each individual go up and clear the entire buffet and put the whole buffet on their plate? No. So it's the same thing with the Good Food Network. There's loads on offer, and you take what works for you to put on your plate. You build your own plate, because I want this to work for you. So how would you build your plate if you know you have heart issues? So some of the, did I print this up already? I might have. Yeah. How do you know? No, I just have the liver stuff. I don't have the heart. Okay, so how do you know you have heart stuff? I know I've built this. So I'm going to go by memory. How do you know you have heart stuff? I'm going to tell you. Obviously, cardiovascular disease runs in your family. That's a big one. If you know that you have diabetes, you're at higher risk of cardiovascular disease. If you know you have blood sugar issues and your thyroid is struggling, you are at higher risk of cardiovascular disease. So you would do well to be in the network this month. Like high elevated cholesterol, elevated blood pressure. Those are the telltale signs for sure that people check. If you have any kind of thrombosis or history of embolisms, most people don't survive those histories. If you have blood clotting issues, we'll be talking about that this month. What else is heart related? Cardiovascular disease. Anything to do with veins or with heart valve issues. If there's a connection with the lungs, with oxygen and low energy. So if there's a lot of fatigue going on in your life, this is one of the pieces that might benefit as well from what we'll be looking at this month, because the heart relies so much on energy. It is an electrical current that's pumping your heart all day long, every day, even when you're asleep. And when that pumping and energy conduit is not working well, now you start to see fatigue as well, because they rely on mitochondria, both. And when you have fatigue, sometimes there can be some pieces that show up in the heart and the heartbeat as well. So all of these issues, but especially I'll go so far as to say chronic disease. If you have really high stress in your life, all the stressors you can think of, and if there's a history of cardiovascular disease in your family, this is for you in the Good Food Network. What kind of stuff will you get in the Good Food Network? There is one live session a week. Some weeks we have two. The live session is on Thursday mornings. Here's what we're covering. We're going to dive deep into the gut and heart connection and why heart issues all have gut stuff at the root. We're going to get into the best herbs, roots, and shoots to feature for your heart. We're going to get into a class on the heart and thyroid connection. And then the last one for the month, we're going to talk about K2. K2 is one of those nutrients that we've taken out of our diet based on the recommendations that our government has sent to us in the last 40 years or so. Reduce eggs, reduce butter. That means reduce K2. Why is K2 so necessary? You'll have to tune in to find out. So those are the live sessions. In addition to that, there is one more live session happening, and that is on Wednesday, July 26th. You can join, you get into it automatically if you're in the network. But if you only want this one class, you can also just sign up for this class. So below this video, you're going to see a couple of links. The first one is going to be for the Good Food Network. And then the second one is going to be for this standalone class. So what's it called? Harnessing Your Blood Sugars for Heart Health. Why blood sugar issues are the driver of cardiovascular disease and what you can do about it. So we're going to get deep into it with the solutions on how to put things in place for yourself to reduce the progression towards cardiovascular disease and quite possibly do a little bit of going backtracking. Yeah, that'd be great, because the world needs you, honey, and we need your light to shine bright. Those are the live components of the Good Food Network. All of the sessions I've just mentioned, one a week, except the last week in July, we get 2 a week. In addition to that, there is a cooking class in there on eggs. There is a class on going sprouted and why going sprouted is important, how to do it. There are also 5 recipes for the month that are available in there. You can also, if you prefer, I'm going to put that as your third link. If you're like, there's a lot in the network, I don't have the space for the network, Luka. Can we actually just start? I just want the recipes. Yeah. Why don't we start slow? So with the recipe, I have a subscription service where just the recipes go out. And some people have both the email with the recipes and they're in the network. So I give them a deal on the network. But if you are just starting out and the idea of diving deep for classes and live content is just overwhelming, but you want to start somewhere, that's the perfect place to start. It's a recipe subscription service. It's the same recipes that are in the Good Food Network, but it's just the recipes. It's just one email a month, and you get it on the first of the month You get 5 recipes. They are based on the topic that's happening in the network that month. And so you're going to have heart healthy recipes in the month of July. So if you would like to get the recipes, then I'm going to put a link below to the recipe subscription service. And there is an image here where it's telling you what are those recipes coming in to your inbox for the month of July. You'll get them soon after you sign up for it. I have to do it manually after the first of the month. So when I get around to it, you will get it. It'll be within the next 24 hours of registering for it. Now it's a subscription service. So it means that next month you'll get 5 more recipes. And we're talking about the heart in August, so you'll get 5 more. So right on. And then in September, we'll shift gears and do something brand new. So that is that. So that's in the Good Food Network. And those are the pieces where I will be found this month. So I'm going to ask you, what kind of support do you need? Do you have the mental health and capacity and space in your life where you're thinking, yeah, I want to start doing a little bit of work every week where I'm going to deepen my own knowledge for how my body works and what's going to help? Come join us in the Good Food Network. If you are somebody who just needs that one class as that intro piece, because you know you have a history of heart disease in your family and you're pretty sure you have blood sugar regulation issues, you'll know that because you're hangry. You wake up in the middle of the night. Is another way it shows up. You are somebody who the stress response goes on like that and you can feel it like, whoa, I'm very energetic all of a sudden. That can be an indicator that blood sugar regulation is a bit troubled. It's very much tied to adrenal and thyroid and metabolic issues. So those are the pieces we're going to be addressing in that standalone class. So if you want just the standalone class, it's live on a Wednesday morning, July 26th. If you cannot join us live, the replay goes out and you have a couple of weeks to watch it. Actually, just a week. And then if that's too much and you're like, no, I just want recipes, then sign up for the recipes. Okay, I'll see you there. One last piece. So over at Histamine Haven, because we are working very much behind the scenes over the course of this summer and early fall, we have hired someone actually to help us build an online subscription service. And that's because we want a one-stop shop where it's like the school of histamine, where you'll know what to do, what you need to do. You'll get to take yourself through the course material yourself. And there will be lots and lots and lots of other pieces in there and lots of moving parts. So in anticipation of that, we're really scaling back on how many events we're doing and how much on our plate we've got, because it is the summer and because we are overwhelmed with how much this is taking. We are doing one and only one class this month. So we're doing it on the 27th of July, and it's a lunch hour, lunch and learn, and it's a free class. So it's for anybody who is wondering if they have histamine issues driving their symptoms. That could be histamine. It can be histamine intolerance. It can be the histamine from foods. It can be mast cell activation, and it can be any combination of those. It can be microbiome issues. It can be gut issues. The list is long. But if you wonder, geez, I wonder if I have histamine stuff, or you just want to learn about what is histamine, this is a really great primer. We call it our masterclass, and masterclass is code for the one big class that we do time and again. That's what everybody uses masterclass for. Sorry to break the facade. But it's called the Histamine Connection to help you make that connection. Now, we tend to be focusing on something this month. We're focusing on the brain and the nervous system in this class in particular, but we're going to be talking about all kinds of histamine stuff. So that's going to be link number 4 below will be to register for that class. And again, you can join us live. You get to ask questions, or you can watch the replay link, which will go out afterwards. Now, we won't be doing another class like this until the fall. So if you're curious to know if histamine plays a role in your own symptoms, come and join us. It's free. It's totally free. I think you get 3 emails about it. So it's free. That's all I'm saying. Okay. That's what's on offer this month. I hope that you have a delightful July set up for yourself, and that if you find yourself in the Northern Hemisphere, that your weekends in the camper or at the beach or at the cabin or in the hammock or knee deep in gardening things or at the park with the kids or grandkids is what is lighting you up these days. And if not, may it be a quiet read under a really big tree in the shade with a delicious lemonade at your side. That's what I wish for you. Look forward to seeing you in the month of July somewhere along the way. And if not, back again here in August. Take care. Salut. À bientôt.